Record button here. And it looks like it is recording. So welcome, and welcome to Team Exalt's Monday Night Zoom. Like I said, I think we got an incredible Zoom in store for you. You're going to want to not only grab your pen, your paper, you're probably going to grab a few tissues because we're going to be sharing some stories tonight. But before we get into some of those stories, I do want to share my screen here and go over a couple of the promos because like I was just talking about, we literally have 1 week left in September. I mean, this month has gone so incredibly fast. It is crazy how fast time is going. So with the month coming to an end, guys, we've had literally the best promotions on the planet the last couple of months and what we have going on right now. So hopefully by this time of the month, you already at least understand the promos, but better yet, implementing how can you use these promos to grow your business, to add more customers, to help more people advance in your team. Guys, right now we can all offer the membership for $1. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, we're able to offer the membership for $1. We're able to share something where they can open an account for $1, where I think most people would still, if they knew the value of the membership, they would pay $500 for an annual membership here. And we're able to offer it for $1. Guys, you have to have that kind of belief and that kind of posture. You're sharing Melaleuca in the shopping club with people. $1, guys, it's virtually nothing. So we can all offer it for $1 right now. And here's the cool thing. Anyone who's brand new that simply refers one person, you can see right down here, one customer referral. They're going to get a free diffuser and some oils. If they enroll 2 or share it, refer 2 people, you're getting some of the products, you're getting the diffuser. And if you enroll 4, you get some free AirPods. Along with all this other stuff, guys, they literally just hand us free stuff every single month. And obviously, you hear it week in, week out, month in, month out on this team, that the culture you want in your team is qualify for the incentives. Help your team qualify for the incentives. I'm telling you, the compounding effect of the numbers, if you qualify for the incentives, and then your team qualifies for them every single month, every half a month, every front end of the month, every back end of the month, because your team will grow. It will double, it will triple, it will quadruple. And you can literally go from 0 to an executive director of business in 5 months by simply just you qualifying by enrolling 2 a month and your team doing the same thing. I've never seen this before, the guaranteed $1,000. Guys, anyone who reaches director for the very first time with at least enrolling 4 new preferred customers in the process of going director, you're going to get a guaranteed paycheck of $500 in the month of September. And then if you enroll just 4 more customers next month, you're going to get another guaranteed paycheck of $500. Think about that. Next month, if you only enrolled 4, that's over $100 per customer. I mean, this company is literally printing money and wants to put it in your bank account. So some of the things you want to ask yourself right now is, who on my team has enrolled 1 and needs to get that 1 more for the enroll 2 incentive? Who on my team has enrolled 3 and needs to enroll 1 more to get the enroll 4 incentive? Or who has brand new people on their team that have yet to refer even a single person? Guys, you can't let a brand new person enroll and not at least help them get 1 preferred customer to get them a diffuser. Getting someone free stuff goes so far. It shows belief. It gets the extra excitement when the package comes to the door and they open it. They're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I earned this. And then it's another Facebook post. It's another talking point. It's another easy way to share Melaleuca. Guys, helping people qualify for the incentives does so much more for someone's business than just getting them some free stuff. It is going to do wonders for your retention. It's going to do wonders for the growth of your business, for the excitement, for the belief level. It does so many things mentally for people you have no idea. And you can track all this stuff, guys. I hope that you go to your business report and you go to your more report and you go to your dashboard, hold on, every single day. Guys, this is a business. If you owned a brick and mortar business, would you not look at your daily numbers? How many customers came in, the revenue for the day, your expense? I mean, you have to know your numbers or you're never going to make it any business. It's the same thing here. Do you go here? Do you look at your enrollments? Do you look at who came into your business every single day? It's super easy to know who has enrolled 1 person and just needs 1 more to get the enroll 2. It's super easy to find out who's enrolled 3 people and who just needs one more to get 4. It's super easy for someone who's came in, has not enrolled a single person yet. All you got to do is go to your dashboard. They have all these different reports to show you. You can sort this by enroller's name, and you can just go down, and I can see right now that Aaron and Aaron, or it's a different Aaron, or Veronica, sorry, I was like, this is totally different. They've got 3 people they've enrolled. Now only 2 of them order. You can see the dates, and then you can find out when they became preferred guys. You can help them go get the enroll 4 incentive. Or I don't know if you know that you can have this mentoring thing, and every single day you can find out how many people that your personals or anyone on your team has enrolled. If I wanted to take, this couple right here, and I wanted to put them on my mentoring report, I just have to add to mentoring list. And all I got to do when I go to my mentoring, all the people that are on here, I can see exactly how many enrollments they have for the month. It updates as the more report updates. I can see everything I need to know about their business. So guys, please treat your business like a business. The more you know, the more you're able to help people. So that's your focus. Who has not enrolled anybody that can enroll 1 to get the diffuser? Who's enrolled 1 that needs help to get that 1 more to get enrolled 2 incentive qualified? Who's enrolled 3 that needs to get 1 more for 4? And then who's close to director? Who has maybe 4 enrollments and I know we can get 4 more by the end of the month? Help them get qualified for the $1,000 guarantee. Guys, there's so many things. But anyway, that is part of the closing of the month. And I'm going to stop sharing this because I want to get into somebody's stories. I believe personally that somebody's story is the most impactful thing that we can share, because so many people relate to so many different things. And here's another thing. Too many people see a lot of the success people are having. They see people's, not their end story, but they're long into their story. And then they try to compare someone's end story with their beginning story, and it's going to take all your happiness away. Comparison is a thief of all happiness. You cannot do that. So what I want is what I've asked is for some of the leaders to come on tonight, that have had a lot of success in Melaleuca. And we see them with all this success and the paychecks and the money they're making, the people they're helping, the organizations that they've grown. But a lot of people don't understand the backstory. How long have they been doing this? How many times have they fallen on their face? How many failures have they had? How long did it take before they ever made anything? What were some of their mindsets as they got started? What do they even think about the industry when they get started to get to where they're at today? Guys, I'm telling you, stories are so, so powerful. And I'm really excited to hear some of these stories, and you'll get to know some of these people. Guys, if you're not getting to know your team personally, your customers personally, where you have a connection with them, where you actually care about them as a human being, guys, you're missing the boat. I know this is network marketing, but this is relationship marketing. The most fulfilling thing that you'll have in this business is not the $10,000 paychecks, the $50,000 paychecks, the $100,000 paychecks. Yes, those are amazing. Because once you start making the money really stops mattering. Everyone gets into this to make money. Don't get me wrong. There's not one person that's ever enrolled into something like this where the goal was not to make money. But as you start making the money and you get your head above water and you're getting out of debt, guys, what you'll find is the most fulfilling thing, the most gratifying thing is the relationships that you build and helping other people transform their lives. You'll care so much about people. It is one big family. That's how you have to build your business. Yes, people are still going to leave. It's what happens, and you got to get over some of that stuff. And you'll probably hear some of that in these stories. But I know the first story that we're going to have shared, and I think she's probably in her car. I think she was at a football game. But you know what? That's life. That's what we do here. And you guys all know her. It's Erin Clark. Corporate director for. What she's and her team have done is unbelievable. There's literally no words that you could possibly describe to what they have created, the movement that they're a part of, the lives that they're changing. I don't even know how much money she's made. I think it's almost $2 million. I'm not even sure. I guess once you go over $1 million, you don't even keep track anymore. But I'm excited to hear Erin's whole story from here. So Erin, are you out there?
I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you.
Just got in the car, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, perfect. Well, I appreciate you getting on. I know you got a million things going on, and you're in your car. But man, we're dying to hear your story, the raw, unedited, uncut Aaron
Yeah,
Clark story. Because a lot of us see you as you are today, and the
yeah,
success you have today. But a lot of people don't know what it took to get here, and what you've all had to go through, and what it was like before Melaleuca.
right. Yeah, so it's just well, thanks for having me, obviously. And sorry, our night got all messed up. I thought the football game started at 5, so we would have been home a long time ago. But the first football game started at 5. My brother didn't play till almost 7. So, anyways, we're in the parking lot. My kids are actually like being really quiet so far. And it's crazy that we've started telling these stories because I'm so used to being the underdog, right? Like I will tell you that from the time I was little, a kid, a teenager, I always was watching from the outside in, right? My story has been very much second place or not quite making it. I grew up with a big fat chip on my shoulder. I'll tell you that I entered corporate America with my fists up. Was told very quickly in corporate America that I wasn't a good fit, that I didn't wear enough makeup, and that I didn't have good enough hair. In high school, there was the Always Aaron Haters Club. Like I act like it's funny, but I still need therapy for that. Like I got to network marketing and spent 5 years literally killing myself. Um, 20 basically 24 hours a day traveling across the state and not ever quite doing enough, right? And so it's crazy because we've gotten to Melaleuca, and I know that people see my story and think like, "Holy crap!" Because I still think that we've made. You asked how much we've made. We've made over 1 million this year. Like, what is happening? Like, I don't even. Kim and I were talking about it today. At some point, it becomes like million schmillion. Like, it's just so weird. We're so not those people. And so I joined Melaleuca in July of 2007 or June of 2017, and I'll just tell you that when I met Clinton Keller, when Madra Jones, one of my best friends, called me to tell me that she was looking at Melaleuca, I said no because I was packing my basement because we were so in dire straits financially that we were selling our house and using the profits of that house sale to pay off our medical bills. Like we were just at the bottom rung. And they always say, like, it's great to hit the bottom and to climb back up, but that really sucks in the time, right? We had gone through a whole bunch of companies. We had fallen flat on our faces over and over and over again. We had signed a whole bunch of people with different $500 kits. I had a lot of people that hated my guts, that told me I was a liar, that told me I was a cheat, that told me I was a loser. And so truly, when we joined Melaleuca, it was not the worst time in our whole lives, but man, it really was a bad place. I never imagined what would happen here. And what happens with Melaleuca is that average people win, right? Like, you guys, I was not a top earner. I was not a top dog. I was not, Clinton told this on our Zoom. He was not the guy that you would have wanted to recruit on your team. Well, neither was I. Like, I didn't follow anybody's instructions. I didn't wear enough makeup, and I didn't ever do my hair, and I didn't know how to lead a team. I didn't know how to communicate well. I just I didn't ever quite get it. And so this 2 years of Melaleuca looks really amazing, but it's really like 20 years of just busting my butt to try to just get better and try to improve my attitude, and all of that kind of stuff. So here's what I will say, and I'll let you guys take the lead because there's some really powerful stories I want you to hear tonight. Is that the extrinsic motivators, the $1,000 guarantee, the AirPods, the iPads, even the Hawaii trip, all those things are amazing. They are a part of what will help you build your Melaleuca business. But at the end of the day, there's something intrinsic that has to happen, right? There's something internal that has to get you up in the morning and get you so tired of your situation and so here my son Titus thinks something is funny, and so over being, having more month before money, right? And so tired of your boss and so tired of the commute. I remember being a mom of little Ray in the back. She never slept for her whole year. And Aaron was a police officer, and we did never see each other. And police officer marriages, like 70% of them end up in divorce. We were going to be a statistic. There came to a point in time where intrinsically I had to do this. I had to make it work. Like I had to. So what I would tell you is that listen tonight to everybody's story, because that's what's going to get you out of bed. Yes, $1,000 is amazing. That's what's going to get your teams really moving forward. But it's what's in your gut, right? I'm a little girl that had to prove people that I was worthy, right? I'm a little girl that people told me I wasn't ever going to be good enough, or I wasn't quite smart enough, or I wasn't quite talented enough. Go sit on the bench, Aaron. Go take a seat. Like, I'm that girl still at 30, almost 35 years old. And there is a part of me that has to get up every day and do my job because I have to. It wouldn't matter what incentive was on the table. And that story is something that I'm telling to this day. And the stories that you'll hear tonight, again, picture yourself. What would your story be? Right? What time in your life are you going through? What struggle are you going through? Because I promise you, your struggle is going to be your most valuable asset, because you can relate to people so well. I know how to relate to people who are struggling because, dang it, I've been on the struggle bus, right? So tonight, I hope you guys have an amazing Zoom. I'm going to listen to it on the ride home. Just picture yourself when you listen to Abby, and when you listen to Kim, and when you listen to Danielle. Just picture yourself in that, and think about what's going to be my story in a year. What's going to be my story in 2 years? And go out and get the incentives. But at the end of the day, search really, really deep in your gut, because that's what will help you win in this business. So thank you, Clinton, so much for having me. I'm sweating. Titus did really good, actually. He thinks something's really funny in the background. But we go to Africa tomorrow. So holy crap. It's crazy.
That is crazy, and I absolutely love your story. And when you got started, you didn't know all this stuff. You didn't know you were going to go to Africa.
Nothing.
You didn't know you were going to go
Nothing.
to Hawaii. You didn't know you were going to be on the front of our LIA magazine. You didn't know you were going to make
No.
$1 million in a calendar year, literally 2 years into your business.
I thought maybe we would save ourselves from despair, is really where we were at. Maybe people would not hate us so much that a couple people would do this with us.
I love it. And there's such a golden nugget there, because a lot of us out there, we're trying to look for the next big mega leader, and who's done it big and who has this huge influence that can bring a team over, when you could enroll someone like an Aaron who's like, I just got started because just hopefully we could save a little bit of money. Hopefully, maybe we could make a little bit of money to get our head above the water, and it turns into someone, once they see the power of Milica, once they hear someone else's story, once they see what's possible, it turns into someone with that desperate why, with their whole story prior to them and the grit and everything that they've learned, that turns into, a corporate director within a couple of years. But you don't know that. Nobody knows that, but everyone's got a story, and that's what I love. So, it's just sharing this with our heart, and then helping every single person that wants help, that has a desire to go and win. And you just never know when the next Aaron Clark's going to pop up on your team. So I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing while you're in the car. Your kids did amazing, by the way. So you should go treat them with something.
I'm proud of them. Thanks for having me, Clinton.
Thanks for being on. Awesome. Well, this next story is another powerful, powerful story. And I don't know her whole story. I've heard parts of her story here and there. I've developed a pretty good relationship with her. Obviously, over time, I hope to get a better relationship with her. But man, talk about going from, when you start, to not knowing a whole lot, to creating something just beyond unbelievable, just like Aaron, and doing it with just all sorts of craziness going on in her life. I mean, this is a true testament to, I don't care what you have going on. You don't have an excuse that I can't overcome, because here's my story. So with that, and I know, Kimberly, you're out there, and I know that you have a little one too that you're dealing with. So hopefully, it goes smooth here, but we understand that if it doesn't. So if you're out there, we'd love to hear your story.
Hey, Clinton. Yeah, I am here, and we have a little baby that has terrorized me all day today. So I am on the couch in my pajamas with her snuggling. If she starts screaming, I will just mute myself. But my husband is in Salt Lake City at the Children's Hospital with our second child. We have 4, and we're adopting, and I'm pregnant. So nobody has any excuses. And he is out of town getting her 15th body brace. With that, and if you hear Moana in the background, if it becomes too much, my older child just woke up, so I could probably sneak up to my office. But so my story is similar to Aaron's in some of her early stuff, very unsimilar to hers when it comes to network marketing. And what I mean by that is that I am the person that my story is that I have no network marketing experience. So I never did. Well, I did. I did LuLaRoe for like a minute and lost a lot of money on that. But I did not have a big team. I had no skill. I had no network. When I actually talked to Erin the first time, it was like 8 p.m. in my car. And she looked at my Facebook and was like, who is this crazy lady? She's got like 350 friends on Facebook. But when I say my story similar to Erin's, it's that so my whole life I was just always kind of that person that people overlooked. Actually, I recently told Darren Johnson I've been waiting my whole life. Like I knew that the opportunity was out there for me, and I've been waiting my whole life to find that opportunity. And Melaleuca ended up being that. So I was in healthcare for 10 years before coming to Melaleuca, and what ended up happening, I was in medical device sales and clinical healthcare. That's where I met my husband. And my second child, Maxine, who is in Salt Lake City right now, was diagnosed with a rare spinal condition when she was the same age as this baby that was just crawling on me. She was 15 months old, and it basically rocked our whole world. Our whole world fell apart. And one day with one x-ray, she was diagnosed with a 55-degree curve in her spine at 15 months old. And I tried to continue what I was doing in healthcare. My husband was also in healthcare. He was working like 60 to 80 hours a week. And eventually I kind of had no choice but to quit my job. My daughter, Maxine, right now she's going and getting a body brace, but she lived in body casts. So from her shoulders to her hips. And the type of cast that you wear on your arm. So no baths, no sand, no nothing, for almost 3 years. And we had to do that every 2 months. So getting to the point here, I quit my job. Those trips out to Salt Lake City, I will tell you the biggest blessing. I'll give you guys the ending when I get to the end of my story. But those trips out to Salt Lake City were not cheap. We had to make them every 2 months on one income. That was less money than what our bills were. And so we racked up a lot of debt, a lot of credit card debt, loans. And by the time I met Erin Clark, I was at the end of my rope. She actually approached me with Melaleuca at the end of June when she enrolled. And I told her to buzz off. I did not want anything to do with Melaleuca. I said, thanks, but no thanks. And that was the end of June. I ended up enrolling on July 2nd. I watched an overview with you, Clinton, with ear pods in, just like this, in my driveway, having a garage sale. If I was upstairs, I could show you guys the purse, one of the purses that I was selling. My family was so bad off at that time. I was selling my kids' toys in my driveway. I thought, like, I don't know what I thought I was going to do. I just had a trip for my team, and there was an Uber sticker in one of my old vans, and they kept saying, what's the Uber sticker for? And I was like, well, I was driving Uber before Melaleuca. Like, I was driving Uber, like, let's pray to God, like, I don't get assaulted, like picking up drunks from the bar at night, like, what in the world was I doing? I was having garage sales and driving Uber, just to try to make ends meet for us. I enrolled in Melaleuca July 2nd, 2017, that day in my driveway with the garage sale. And I was 5 months pregnant with this little baby, 2 kids under 4. I don't know what I was thinking. And I just thought, if I could make $1,000 this month, that was my goal. My goal was $1,000. $1,000 would get my family's head above water. I wouldn't be like hyperventilating at night about how we were going to pay our mortgage or buy groceries that month. And, we far surpassed that goal. So here we are just over 2 years later. My cumulative earnings are like $771,000, I think. Like the stupidest thing in the world. The stupidest thing in the world. Listen, I'm sitting on my couch with a blanket in my pajamas with my kid crawling all over me. I don't even care at this point because I told you, Clinton, like, I've had a bad day. This baby is trying to kill me. I am like, when is my husband coming home to help me? Oh, thank you, Ella. But what I've also learned, and I have a lot of Aaronisms because she's my enroller, and we did talk about it. We were talking about today, like, at this point, the money, the intrinsic motivation versus your extrinsic motivation. For me, at this point, my residual income is over $15,000 a month. It's close to $16,000 a month. But I feel as though, like, we haven't helped enough people yet, right? Like, how many other Kims are out there that are selling their stuff in their driveway? How many other Abbies are out there and Aaron Clarks are out there? And I think, you know, one thing that you're going to notice from most of the people in our organization is that we're all kind of the underdogs. We're all kind of the people that you would have never, ever thought, I need to go. And nobody would have ever looked at Kimberly McCauley with my pink hair. It's not pink, by the way, anymore. Now the cat's out of the bag. You guys weren't going to see it till ELC, but now you know. But how many Kimberly McCauleys are out there being overlooked because I'm not a rock star. I'm not a powerhouse, right? And so there's something to be said for just some hungry mamas that are really, you know, desperate to change their life. So I don't know. I kind of babbled, and the baby has got me like crazy, but that's my story.
I love it. And it's just when people listen to your story, it just shows what the power of what we have to offer people. You're talking about when you're describing your life before Melaleuca to where you're at your wit's end, driving Uber, putting your life on the line when you have a family, sending your kids clothes so you can try to keep up with some of the debt or at least pay the mortgage to keep the roof over your head. And someone reached out to you with this opportunity, and in a matter of 2 years, you're at where you're at right now. Like that, when you have the opportunity to change someone's life like that, it's the most fulfilling thing in the world. And, you know, so many nuggets with your story as far as, again, you know, you would never prejudge someone. We're sharing this with everyone because you never know the next person you're going to talk to that is in your situation, that's selling stuff just to get by that month, you know, and, you know, you have the opportunity to literally change their life. So again, no network marketing experience, just sharing it with someone. And then the power of the motivation, I call it your why. Because you better have a very defined why. Your why is what's going to get you through all this stuff. To make time when there is no time. You're talking about kids and visits to Salt Lake City and all the stuff you had going on. It would have been very easy for you to make an excuse and say, I don't have time for this. But when you have that burning desire inside of you and that why, and you have a little bit of belief, as you make the time, you figure it out. It's called grit. You just get it done. So a lot of nuggets in there for people to take away from. And I mean, such a blessing to have you on the team. And, you know, stories like you, you know, this is what put tears in our eyes every day. And what makes us go out and share this with everybody every single day. Because like you said, there's so many more people out there, guys. We haven't even scratched the surface. And I know we have a large team, we've changed a lot of lives. There's so many more people out there that are praying for this right now. So I appreciate you, Kimberly. I'm going to let you get back.
Thank you. I know I'm like, I do not look, I'm a mom. That's what I look like tonight. So, but thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I love it. Well, you look great. And that's the thing. When you can build your business from home, from anywhere, you know what? It don't matter what you look like. You don't have to dress up in those suits. It don't matter. We don't take resumes. We don't do any of that. You know, all that matters is your heart and your willingness to go share this and help people. So we appreciate you. We love you. I hope you have a good rest of your night, Kimberly. We'll tell Art to get back in a hurry.
Yeah, please do.
Awesome. Well, our next story is another incredible story, and I don't know much about her story, except for the fact I know when she enrolled, and I know it was something like maybe 25 cents in her bank account or something like that. Like a story where we literally have nothing to show for all the stuff that we've done up to that point in our life in a bank account to, I don't know what her cumulative earnings are, but she's done very, very well. I still remember Rebecca coming up to our house at a month in, and I had Ann's name on my board because when she came in, she did exactly what we tell new people to do, and that's go create a mess, and we're going to clean it up for you. I'm telling you, my board had so many names on it, and it was such a mess. There was a whole section just for Ann and her team when Rebecca came out here, and she's like, I don't know what these people are doing. But we got all these new people, and they're just hungry, and they're just sharing it, and they're enrolling 10, 20 people a day. And I still remember that this day, and then getting all the moves done, and Rebecca passing out on my floor. But I can't wait to hear the rest of your story, because I know there'll be a lot of takeaways for people on here from what you're about to share. So, Ann, if you're out there, we'd love to hear it.
Hey, thank you so much for that, Clinton. And thank you for inviting me on this training on tonight. It's definitely an honor. And all of the other ladies who are on the line as well. Kimberly, you are a trip, girl. However, oh man, this has been just a life-changing, and I don't say it as a cliche. When they say that life change here in Melaleuca, it absolutely does. For me, my story began a little bit like I've been in that industry before. I've done other home-based businesses before, and I hit rock bottom like 2014, sending me back, to the work field. So I'm working as a dental assistant and an office manager, and I'm running like 3 offices: South Beach, Plantation, and Boynton Beach. And my schedule was very, very demanding. And I had a teenage daughter at that time. And so I just didn't have a lot of time at home. I didn't have a lot of free time. I was unhappy. My ends still were not meeting. And in November of 2017, I just woke up one day, and I'm the best dental assistant ever, okay? Like, I can really literally do that, like, with my eyes closed. So it was a job that I really adored. I love everything about it, the beauty of it, the health of it, the anatomy of it, just everything. And, but in November, I just woke up that day, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be responsible anymore. I didn't want to do the insurance verifications. I didn't want to do the schedule. I didn't want to do the treatment plans. I just didn't want to do it. And every day was not the day. So I knew I had to walk away. So I walked away from my job in November. It was the most irresponsible decision I could have ever made, because my daughter was 17, a senior in high school, with all of these senior activities. And it was like, Ann, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I just can't do it anymore. And I walked away. So Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, the holidays, me and my daughter, we were just balling, living our best life, filling up the gas in the car. Gas is expensive out here, child. But anyway, just after paying my rent in January, I had $12.06 to my name. And it was New Year. So that whole superstition started kicking in. If you didn't have money in New Year, you're going to be broke all year long. And I do not like that word broke. And so that whole superstition was just taking over my heart, body, mind, and soul. I was delirious. I was going crazy. So I reached out to a friend. That's why we have to build very good relationships today. Check on your folks. Still nurture those relationships, even if you don't see them, because I reached out to a friend of mine, and it was a guy, and I asked him for a $2,000 loan. And it was the most sincere decision. I mean, actions that he displayed, because he's in another company, another home-based business, and he's very successful. But he said to me, Ann, I'm going to send you the money, but I'm also going to send you the telephone number of this young lady named Rebecca Geary. She out of Atlanta. She doing some company called Melaleuca, and she's making a ton of money. And immediately, I heard of it before. I'm like, I'm not doing no Melaleuca. I haven't heard anything about Melaleuca at all. And about 2 weeks went by, and I did not call Rebecca. And my very first customer was Latandra Carr. That's gonna be my newest thing, y'all. But anyway, Tan kept saying, Ann, did you call the lady about the business? Did you call the lady about the business? And I was like, kind of getting an attitude, because I'm like, why she asked me if I called the lady about the business? I didn't ask her for any money, but it was all God's, all the signs that he was sending me. I went ahead, I picked up the phone, and I called Rebecca. And I was in a very dark place in my life, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, everything. I was in the valley. But Rebecca was everything that I needed. It was just her tone of voice. It was so energetic. She seemed so happy. It's like I could have seen her eyes through the phone, and immediately I went to Facebook and I said, let me see what this girl look like. And she just gave me all the hope that I needed at that time in my life. I didn't even have the money to place a 35-point order. Hint, hint, clue, clue, guys. But I believe you have to build those relationships with people, Clinton, so they could believe in you, because they don't know anything about the business. And all I did, I believed in Rebecca. And she just was so well spoken and happy. And I just wanted to be connected. I jumped on board and I called my mama, my sister, my brother, my old boyfriends, new girlfriends, my children, their friends, parents, everybody. I called everybody. Jefferson said that everybody could be my customer, and that is all that I believed in. And Rebecca asked me, and this is where it gets very good. She asked me, she said, well, Ann, you're really building your business. Some great things can happen. Let's strategize. How much money do you want to make? So I said, $3,000. I just want to pay my rent and my car note and just get some groceries. That's all I wanted was $3,000. And, she had a really long talk with me. And, when I kept hearing Jefferson say, think bigger, faster, I had no clue what was going to happen. All I knew was I was being very coachable and I was going to work. And my very first month, I opened 25 shopping accounts. About 4 people duplicated what I did. My very first check was $8,250. And I was like, holy moly. What is going on here? Then my second month, $15,000. Then my third month, $28,000. I only say that not to brag or boast, just to show you that as a dental assistant, I was making about $40,000 annual salary. So I replaced walking away from that job irresponsibly, walking out on faith, just believing that I'm going to do what I feel like doing, what I believe in. I'm responsible for my happiness, and I'm leaving this job, and I'm going to do something. At the end of the day, I know we got to work. And that's what I did. I replaced my income in less than 4 months. Fast forwarding, I sent my daughter to FAMU college, no student loans. I bought my mom back her very first house. My mom is from Curacao. So I bought her very first house when she moved to the United States, renovated the whole entire house. I just opened up a beauty salon about 2 days ago. I say all that to say, guys, my life has absolutely changed by me making one telephone call out of respect. And I thank you so much, Clinton, for all that you have did on the sideline, just believing in somebody else's dream and helping them. Jefferson Green, Rebecca Cat, all of them, they really helped me. Like, I know that my success, I could not have done it without these people. It's just things that they say that ring in my head. I can go on and on and on and on because I'm so excited, but I'm going to just throw it back to you, Clinton.
I love it. And I love your energy. And I'm telling you, there's so many nuggets. I hope people will listen to these stories and not just hearing the stories as you wipe your tears away, but writing stuff down from these stories, because I'm hearing things in these stories. And then I think back when I'm approaching people, or maybe people I haven't approached, and I'm like, man, I'm missing the boat on some of this. And guys, think about this. When Ann picked up the phone and called Rebecca, she didn't know her. And all she heard was someone that was happy, energetic, and just full of passion about what they were doing. Guys, I'm telling you right now, and I'm guilty of it just like any other, as much as I try not to, because I'm a huge believer in putting yourself in the right state before you do anything. Before any phone call I make, I put myself in the right state of mind. Before any Zoom, including this one tonight, you know what? I was on my phone. I was listening to a few things to get in the right state, because how you carry yourself, your excitement, your passion, your energy is contagious. And if Ann would have called Rebecca, and maybe Rebecca was having a bad day, and she answered and she wasn't excited, and she was mopey, and she just wasn't herself, Ann probably wouldn't have got started. She wouldn't have done what she did. And maybe Rebecca was having a bad day, but maybe she knew that I have got to get myself in the right state of mind. So when she made that answer that, and it was the connection, and that's all Ann needed. She needed just to live off of Rebecca's belief when she didn't have any. She was in a dark place in her life, and it sounded like over the phone that Rebecca was living an unbelievable life. And Ann's like, I want that. She didn't even know her. So guys, I'm telling you, when you're making phone calls, when you're doing presentations, when you're just out in public, guys, smile, be energetic, be the person that when someone walks by, that you're the most positive person that person's ever going to meet or talk to that day. That is my goal. When I go to the grocery store, I'm holding doors. I'm saying hi. I'm smiling at these people so big they probably want to punch me. But my goal is that everyone I come in contact with, that I'm going to be the most excited, happiest person that they meet all day long. And I might be having a rotten day. I have people tell me all the time, Clinton, you're always so positive. Does anything bad happen in your life? I'm like, I ain't going to go into it, but trust me, we all go through storms. We all have hurdles, obstacles, and bad things happen. It's how you react to it, the meaning that you give it. That's the key. I choose to be happy every day. I choose to be positive and optimistic every single day. And I choose to try to radiate that onto other people so they want to be around that. And that's what I got from Ann's story. That what if Rebecca just happened to not have it that day? Not only would she not have one of the most amazing builders on her team, but she would have missed on completely changing someone's life named Ann Maynard. I mean, think about how different your life is, Ann, from that phone call till today. You just went through all of it. That's literally changing someone's life. And you know what? And she made another whole bunch of comments. I went and called everybody because she got a great tip from Jefferson saying, listen, everybody can be your customer. Well, if you're brand new and you only have a few dollars in your bank account and everyone can be my customer, you know what a good idea is? To call everybody because everybody's going to be somebody's customer. They might as well be your customer. So I appreciate your story, Ann. I got a lot from it. And man, I couldn't be more excited for you. You're doing some amazing things in your life. Obviously super blessed to have you on our team. And, people could share your story and hopefully a lot of people were able to relate to it tonight. So thanks again for sharing. We got a few stories left. And I know the next story, obviously, is real near and dear to Stephanie and I because it's our personals, Danielle Doucette, and I can't wait for you guys to hear her story and how things happen for them. And, even before Melaleuca and everything that's, she's gone through to get to where she's at today. And I know that you're going to take a ton of things away from this story as well. So Danielle, I see you out there. Let's hear your story.
Hey y'all, hope you're having a great night. Thank you, Clinton, for asking me to be on here. I take that as a huge honor. Just to share a little bit of our story and honestly a little bit more about me prior to Melaleuca. So my MLM days started when I was 18 years old. I actually signed up for my very first multi-level marketing company when I was 18. I was itching to turn 18 so I could pay for that big old kit with Mary Kay. And I did. And I was excited then, but I failed. That was my first failure. Shortly after that, I went to cosmetology school. Since I was a little girl, I always dreamed of being a cosmetologist. I always loved the beauty industry. And so I went to be a cosmetologist and I worked in a hair salon for many years. And I also went back to school to be a cosmetology and esteology educator for the Aveda Institute. And that's what I did before all of this. And so it kind of brings me back, I want to talk a little bit about my time then, because I learned a lot about failing when I was actually a cosmetologist and a cosmetology educator. I learned a lot of my work ethic there as well. You can imagine getting up every single day, leaving your house at 5:45 in the morning and not coming home until 9:30 at night. That was me when I was in the salon and in the school teaching both. At the time, for many years of that, We had our oldest daughter, who is oldest now, but at the time she was the only one. And I would drop her off at daycare, and someone else, it was their responsibility to pick her up because I was working and busting my rear to make things happen. And I consider myself successful in the cosmetology or beauty industry, if that's what you want to call it. But after finding out that I was pregnant with our second child, we actually had her in September 2017. I came back from maternity leave and I put in my 2-week notice. And I walked away from an industry that I felt that I was very successful with, that I had built a huge reputation in, and I did not know what I was going to do. But I knew that grind of driving, commuting to Chapel Hill every single day was no longer for me. I did it with one child. I was not about to do it with 2. And so I walked away. I really did not know, like I said, what I was going to do. I didn't have a plan. I walked away from benefits. I walked away from insurance. I walked away from security, if that's what you want to call it. But I knew God had a plan for me and had a plan for our family. And so in March of 2000 and I guess it was 14, that's when I found my next MLM. And I should back up a second, because from the time Jeff and I got married, we actually dabbled together in about 3 MLM companies, and we were not successful. They were a huge flop. We did not become the success duo that we set out to be. Let's just put it that way. We had very high hopes. We had great work ethic, and we put a lot of heart and grind and grit into it, but it just did not work for us. So 2014 of March rolls around, and I have a girlfriend from high school that introduces me back to MLM, a cosmetic company, part of the beauty industry, I guess you could say, but multi-level marketing. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is God saying, here's something for you to replace what you had. You can do this. And I set out to do that, and I felt like I was very successful with it. I gained a lot of trust in a lot of people. I was back into my niche, if that's what you want to call it. And I started building relationships with people and women per se. I created a sisterhood. I had a team of about 1,200 people. And honestly, you guys, at the time, I thought that was just huge. I thought it was huge, and it was huge for compared to the other MLM companies that I had ever been in. But on the same hand, then I found out I was pregnant with our third child. And so at this point, you know, I'm grinding and grinding every single day. I failed. I lost business partners. I lost customers from, you know, lack of not being able to be there with a complicated pregnancy. And in February of 2015, at 27 and a half weeks, our third child was born. And this is kind of crazy, because at that point in time, we really didn't know if she was going to make it or not. She was in the NICU for over a month. And but because of the grind of multi-level marketing and really not being able to take a step back, right hours, honestly, after she was born, during the shift change in the NICU unit, I was on a team training call in a hospital bed. And, you know, looking back on that, it was like, what was I doing? Why wasn't I able to walk away for a day? It's because in the MLM world, if you're not selling, then you're not making anything. In the same hand is that if your business partners or presenters, if they're not selling, then they're not even going to be your customer. So you got to make it happen. Somebody's got to make it happen. Somebody's got to try to keep these people motivated, right? And so I knew that I was that person to be able to help do that. So that was the grind that I was in. And honestly, all of these things looking back, they were huge red flags for me. Huge, huge red flags. Like looking back now, like I said, But in February of 2017, Jeff had just turned 41. And I'm telling a lot of like my background, but his background, he's been in the car industry for 16 years, almost 17 years. And he was very, very, very successful with that. But he had just turned 41 and he decided, you know what, it's time, we need to start a healthy journey. And we didn't know what that was going to be. We were looking for something. We had tried other things to try to get healthy, and nothing just really worked for us. Whether it was way too expensive. And so that's when Jeff was scrolling through Facebook one day, and he came across a post of an Attain bar from Clinton Keller. And he actually reached out to Clinton and he said, you know, what is this? Can you tell me more? And Clinton said, are you shopping at Melaleuca? And Jeff's like, what the heck is Melaleuca? And Clinton proceeded to explain the ins and outs of Melaleuca. And he's like, you know, if you choose to refer other people, you can get paid to do that. And we were like, absolutely not. Like, I felt like that I was at my forever home with the company that I was with, and with, you know, that was a beauty MLM. You know, he was, you know, working at the car dealership. He was a manager. We were so busy. We had 3 kids, obviously, and we were like, no, but we really didn't know what we were saying no to. And so I tell you all of that is because you guys could have someone that you're talking to right now, or maybe that you have as a customer that, you know, told you no to the business side. If Clinton had not followed up with us, and I'm about to tell you the series of events of how everything kind of fell into place, but if Clinton hadn't followed up with us, we wouldn't have really known what we had in front of us. So that's a note that I would take and get your pen and paper out right now and just say, who do I have as a customer right now that maybe told me no, but that point in time, it might not have been the right time, but right now maybe. So, you know, again, like I said, looking back, I had so many red flags going up. Jeff did decide to refer a couple of people to Melaleuca on his own. And the company that I was with decided that that wasn't something that they were going to allow. And they actually, long story short, threatened to sue us if Jeff continued to refer people to Melaleuca and I stay with that company. And at that point in time, it was a huge eye-opener for me. Number one, you know, they want you to be this person and use you in these trainings and put you in the spotlight and do this and do that. But on the same hand, it's like all of a sudden one thing goes wrong or doesn't go their way, and oh, well, we're going to sue you for your influence on social media, you know? And at that point, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And I felt defeated. I felt like, oh my gosh, I was always that person, even growing up. No one's going to stop me. I'm going to do it, and I'm never going to give up. And I'm never going to be a quitter. Even though I've been knocked down so many different times throughout my life, even in childhood, I was never going to give up. And so at that point, I'm thinking, I've never given up on you guys. Why are you throwing in the towel on me? And so you guys don't know who is out there who is brainwashed. Because that's exactly what I was. I was brainwashed by a company that showed that they believed in me, but really and truly when it come down to it, they weren't there for my best interest. They were there for their best interest. And so push come to shove, and I had 48 hours to make a decision. And I made my decision quicker than 48 hours, and I resigned from that MLM company. And it was honestly, you guys, the best decision I ever made. But the next learning lesson from that I want to give you guys is that if you're talking to someone who's coming from an MLM company, it's not going to be as easy of a transition, per se, emotionally, as it may be for others. For me, I was attached to my team. We had built a sisterhood. Those people thought I mean, we talked every single day. And so with that being said, I was letting go. I felt in a way that I was giving up on them, but I knew deep down inside of me that I was doing what I had to do for my family and my family's best interest. And if they chose to do the same thing, that the outcome will be the exact same for them. And I had a lot of people who were my friends. They were only friends because I put a paycheck in their pocket. And I learned that really quick. So there were so many learning lessons in that to just show you again, I think it's been said twice before, it's building genuine relationships with people. And honestly, you guys, when you decide to make a change, people are going to want to know what you're doing. Not to mention, if you decide to make a change health-wise, like we did, we chose to lose weight. And when we did, the way we looked started to change. The way we felt started to change. And what do you do when you look and feel differently? You talk about it. And so it was a natural conversation that we were having with people in our community and people around us. And that's what allowed us to have, quote unquote, I guess you could say, the success that we had early in Melaleuca, because we were our true, genuine self. And people were interested in knowing what we were doing. So I honestly, my main goal coming over to Melaleuca was to prove everyone wrong. I had a lot of haters. I had a ton of haters. And they all told me that I was never going to be successful selling laundry detergent and soap. They really didn't know a lot about the cosmetology or beauty side, I guess you could say, of Melaleuca. And again, at myself, I didn't know what I was missing out on by not being a part of Melaleuca when it comes to the Sabella side. You guys, the beauty industry is huge. And if you're not utilizing that Sabella line, you are losing money in your business. You're losing business. You're losing customers that are going out to Estee Lauder. They might be coming to Melaleuca for laundry detergent and soap and things like that. But if their goal is to get chemicals out of their home, they should get it off their skin too. And I could go on and on about that all day long because that's just my thing. But when I saw that Sabella line, I told Clinton, I told Jeff, I said, I cannot refer one person to this company until I use it for myself, because I've got to know what it's like. And so after being called by Melaleuca, my account got shut down. I think we ordered like over $1,000 worth of stuff. They were like, all right, okay, I get it. You're not going to resell it, that whole thing. I just wanted to use it, and I knew it had a 100% money back guarantee. And you guys, I've never seen anything like it coming from that industry. All of that, so many lessons learned. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And so here at Melaleuca, we have been able to touch so many people. And honestly, Jeff and I, we touched a lot of people in a very short amount of time. In our first full month, we enrolled 95 customers. And you guys, I would just tell you, stick to who you are, be true to who you are. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on the people that you bring to Melaleuca, because they're going to give up on themselves, but you never give up on them. And just keep going one day at a time. And I'll tell you guys, I'll end with this, because I know I've talked a long time, but looking back at that time, being in the hospital when our child, was born at 27 and a half weeks and hopping on a coaching call. You guys, here at Melaleuca, I could have taken that time, because those customers are shopping every single month. And, we have done what we have done here at Melaleuca, and we are blessed in so many different ways. And I have to say, here in the past 6 months to year, we have not worked to our full potential, but guess what? Every single month, we get a paycheck. We haven't worked to our full potential. It's allowed Jeff to open his own business. It allowed him to be home with me for 16 months. And it has allowed me the time with my children that I set out to have when I walked away from the school. Because when I found MLM, I worked just as much and hardly saw my kids as I did when I was away all day long. So I'm thankful for Melaleuca in that aspect. We have a completely different story, but we are so thankful for every single one of you. We're so thankful for Clinton for introducing Melaleuca to us.
I love it, and I love your story. I share it all the time, guys. You know, there's so many nuggets in there. It's you never know who you have in your customer base. Jeff and Danielle were just one of our customers that literally told me no to the business multiple times. Like, not no maybe, but like no for sure, like 100% don't talk to me about it. But another thing is, if you help your customers become the best customer possible, getting the most product in their hands and helping them have that positive customer experience, you could take a customer, guys, who was part of another company and show them how amazing Melaleuca is, how amazing their products are, their customer service, the company, and you can flip it in their mind, guys, because the second something might not go right with the company they're with, if they've had that positive experience and they have tried so many different products and loved them all, guess what they're going to do? They're going to become builders. And so we had a customer that in their first 8 days over 312 product points as customers, okay? Number one's no interest in the business. But because of that, and because I helped them lose weight, and because I followed up and treated them good and cared about them, it wasn't that long before they're like, we're going to start referring people. I'm dropping weight like crazy. These products are amazing. It's safer on my kids. My glass is clean. These stains are coming out. This is unbelievable. And there's another tip in there that if people are part of other companies, you don't always have to get them to come over and bring their teams over. Why don't you talk to them about maybe just being a customer? Because guess what? That story, Danielle and Jeff's story, might become someone on your team. So if you know other people in other companies, don't bash their company. Praise them. Tell them how great, how much that you want them to succeed, because I hope you do really want them to succeed. We want everyone to succeed. But ask them if they'd be your customer, because Melaleuca has so many different products. I don't care what company they're in, they can be your customer because their company doesn't have everything that we have. They might be in a nutrition company. Guess what? We're the best cleaning products on the planet. They might be in a makeup company. Guess what? We got the best nutrition products, the best cleaning products, the best essential oil products. Everybody can be your customers. So follow up with your customers. Treat them well. They can become your next builder, guys. She shared their first month story. This was from someone who didn't want to refer, who became products of the product, fell in love with the company and the membership. So it was super easy to share, guys. And they referred almost 100 customers personally in 2 weeks. They started in the middle of March. Their first check was $8,100. Their first full month was over $60,000. Their second full month was over $118,000 or something crazy like that, because that's from a customer that just fell in love with the product. So go get customers. Treat them well. I don't care if they're part of other businesses. Don't try to poach them and everything. Just have them be your customer. We're a customer-driven company. So thank you, Danielle, for sharing that. I love your story, and hopefully it helped a whole bunch of people on here. So we appreciate you and love you and Jeff to death.
Love y'all too.
Awesome, awesome. Well, the next story I'm anxious to hear, because I don't really know any part of this story. I know Abby personally, and obviously I've worked a little bit with her. Obviously worked with her through Aaron's team, but don't know a ton of her story. And I know that she's got a ton going on, kids, single mom, all sorts of stuff. So I'm excited to hear the story, because this is going to be another person that is going to take every excuse away that you might have on a reason maybe not to build your business, or an excuse you're telling yourself on why you're not to where you want to be. She's going to take all those excuses and throw them out the window. So Abby, if you're out there, I'd love to hear your story.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. I am just finishing up a 7-day stay in the hospital with one of my kiddos. So I actually laughed because Danielle looks so beautiful. And I just realized after I said I would do this that I have absolutely no makeup here. I can't even do my hair or anything, but that's okay because this is real life. But so it's interesting to me to hear everyone else's story. I've kind of, you know, met Danielle and them, but I had never really heard her whole story. And I love how much it is in line with everything that I've learned so far at Melaleuca and what has been my story too. So I actually did Mary Kay when I was 18 years old also. And I started with probably like $1,500 worth of product that put me into debt with a credit card and all that kind of stuff. And I had a lot of really bad experiences with MLMs. Like, I mean, I did them all. If you will not find somebody that has done more MLMs than me, I promise. I've literally done it all, and I never had success. The one that I had a little bit of success with, it lasted about 5 minutes, and then I went through a divorce and my business fell apart and I was not able to rebuild it. And I also began to wonder, how could I introduce people to a business that could fall apart that quickly, that they had worked so hard for? And I started to really question the whole MLM, you know, the whole thing. So that business fell apart, and I kind of wanted nothing to do with MLM, but I also knew that there had to be something out there. When Aaron introduced me to Melaleuca, I had twins that were 5. I had a 3-year-old, and I was pregnant with baby number 4. We were living on credit cards. Like, I literally couldn't pay my bills. I mean, I was calling Aaron, like, what are we gonna do? We've got to do something. I can't live like this. And so we have a team of people kind of in that situation. You know, Aaron was in that situation, Kim, and so many others. And I think that really gives you some extra oomph, like, we have to do this. We don't have a choice. And I watched an overview with Clinton, and I couldn't sleep that night. Like, I just saw something that I've never seen in my life, and I just knew I had to go all in. So it's been a little over 2 years. We joined on June 27th, 2017. That first month we had 3 days until the end of the month, and I talked to Jefferson on the phone, and I knew nothing about Melaleuca. We had no team page, we had no script, we had no training calls. Jefferson called and said, you need to go enroll at least 10 customers and you'll make approximately maybe $800 to $1,000. So that's what I did. And my paycheck was right around $950. And when you're wondering how you're going to pay your bills, that's a lot of money. And that next month, my first full month, my paycheck was right around $5,500. So to me, that was life-changing money. I've never made anything like that before. And I really think that we have a team of people like that. And I love that I know that I can find someone like myself that doesn't come over here with a big team, doesn't come over here with a big network, that's just a mom that's really struggling, or just a person that really needs to figure out how they're going to pay their bills, and that they can do that here. So last year at SELC, there was a lady that spoke, and she talked a lot about, her saying was, it's not if life happens, it's when life happens. Sorry. So I didn't really understand a whole lot about what that meant, or what her, like, that's not gonna happen to me, nothing. You know, this was a lady that something bad happened to her, and those kind of things won't happen to me. My kids are healthy, happy, you know. And I was wrong. Life did happen to me. A couple months ago, sorry, one of my 7-year-old twins was diagnosed with cancer. And there's no way that I could have made it through it without having that residual income that we have from Melaleuca. I now have 4 kids. You know, my twins are 7. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And we're just finishing up chemo right now. He's actually cancer-free. He's healthy and almost done, but it's been about, you know, 4 months of in and out of the hospital. We come for 7 days at a time. And when I'm here, I honestly know my kids are taken care of. The bills are paid at home. I can come here and be with him. And there's so many people in our lives that don't have that. There's so many families here in the hospital that don't know how they're going to pay their bills. And it's just been a little over 2 years with Melaleuca. My residual is over $7,000. And when we first got the diagnosis, I was able to step away from my business for a couple weeks and truly take care of my kids. And the corporate team and the team that I'm on with Melaleuca really took over so that I could do that. But I will say that I did step away, and like Danielle said, I didn't rush back to my computer. I didn't, but I was able to continue to make an incredible residual income, and my paycheck was still incredible last month. My residual has still grown. My business has still grown. I'm still moving forward. And, I didn't have any huge, amazing months where I enrolled 20 customers during this, but I have still talked to people about laundry soap through this whole thing. I've still talked to people about switching where they shop, and I've still steadily enrolled maybe 3 to 4 customers a month. So that's my story. I don't think that we all have to go out and search for that rock star. We don't have to go find that person that has the massive network. We just need to go out and focus on our residual income and find that person that needs to pay their bills, that person that needs to feed their kids, that person that needs to get out of debt, because they can do that here and they'll have a residual income that's going to last a lifetime. So thank you for having me, Clinton. And I'm sorry I didn't mean to be such a mess, but
No, I mean, we can't thank you enough for taking the time out and sharing your story. It's so powerful in so many ways, and I promise you that you and your family are in not only my family's prayers, but everyone else on this team praying for you. And praise God, almost cancer-free, 100%, almost done. I'll continue to be in our prayers for sure. And what a blessing Melaleuca is that came into your life when they did. And I remember the very first Zoom that you were on, and we never know. You can't ever connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. But to be able to be a part of a company, be part of a business, and be part of a team of people that care for you so much to where you're building this, that it can actually be a residual income, because it doesn't happen elsewhere. And you would know more than anyone. You said you've been a part of more companies than anyone else out there. And, that's another nugget, guys. I don't know, everyone that's listening to this or the replay, and, how many companies you've been a part of, or if you've never been a part of any company, or if you've had friends that have been a part of companies that are still a part of companies, or say they're never going to do this again, guys. Melaleuca is different, and it's just really tough to explain until you get involved. But to be able to do what you've been able to do, Abby, and be there for, your kids. And I mean, I can't imagine all the things you have going on with 4 kids and weeks at a time away, going through chemo and all this stuff. I can't even imagine. And then to know that your business has grown every month, to know that you've been paid every month, the residual, to where you can take that focus and put it where it needs to be, guys. Because that's another thing that you'll see with this team, and that the people that are on this team, it is God family work, and that's the order it's going to be. And you need to have it in that order if you want to have a successful business, if you want to have a successful, fulfilled life. And you can have that here, where I don't know if that's the case anywhere else. I have yet to find it. So, man, I appreciate it. And there's no one else out there that now that, when we talk to that says, well, I can't do this, I'm too busy, or I have too much stuff going on, I can't possibly talk to people about laundry. So when you're in hospitals and away from your home for weeks at a time, going through what you're going through with 4 kids and all that stuff, and you're still able to enroll customers every single month, and your business is able to grow every single month and create a residual income, of what you've created to take care of your family. That's an unbelievable, powerful story, and you just never know how many more Abbies are out there. And it's also a huge learning lesson. Like she says, the time to fix your roof is not while it's raining. Guys, you need to fix your roof before the rain, and, I pray that bad things don't happen to people. But like Abby heard from the lady on stage, and like she said, it's not if it happens, guys, it's when it happens. It's just the way it is. So go do it while you can. Go share this while you can. Go build your business and residual income while you can, so you can put your time and energy where it needs to be when certain things happen. So Abby, we love you. We pray for you. And we truly appreciate your time on the Zoom tonight. I hope people got a lot from that. So thank you again. And our next story, which is our last one, before I was going to share mine, but it's getting a little late. So I might or might not. But we all know this last gentleman that's going to pop on. And I'm excited for everyone to kind of hear his story, because a lot of people see him today. You know, you see him on the cover of the LA magazine. You see all the success. You see that he's made over $3 million in like a 2-year time period. You see the polished individual who seems like he could go up and talk to anybody and not only enroll them, but have them as a senior director that night. Like, you see all of that right now when you hear and you listen to him and you listen to his voice. You're like, is this like God talking down on me? Like, what this guy's so polished and so smart. But guys, there's so much backstory to Mr. Jefferson Green that a lot of people don't know, that, you know, had to go through to get to where he's at today. So I'm excited for you to share your story. Jefferson, if you're out there, man, we'd love to hear it.
Awesome, Clint. You hear me okay?
I sure can.
Well, before I say anything, you know, the best news I believe we all heard was certainly Abby sharing that about her son. And so there's a lot of people praying for you, and we're glad that that's going in the direction that those prayers have moved towards. And you're welcome. And you know, just also congratulations to Abby and the Clarks. You know, they were President's Club winners, and big deal. I know the trip leaves tomorrow, and that's you know, exciting. And then, you know, today they came out, Clint, with the leaderboard, you know, and it's just the current top 50 leaderboard for President's Club. It doesn't mean these are the President's Club winners for the 2020 trip, but they're just tracking the top 50 businesses. And Team Exalt had 20 of the top 50 businesses. 20 of the top 50 businesses in all of North America. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. And, you know, one thing when I heard Aaron and Kimberly and Ann and Danielle and Abby share their story is, guys, incredible amount of work ethic, you know, and some of them came in to Melaleuca with some tremendous adversity financially, and probably some came in with lack of confidence, right? You know, they were uncertain. And when I came into Melaleuca, guys, I wasn't broke, you know. I'd been fortunate in my career in network marketing. I wasn't in that situation where I couldn't pay my bills or anything like that. I also believed in myself. You know, I believed in my ability. And, you know, my story doesn't happen without Danielle and Jeff's story before, because they were one of the fastest executive directors in the history of the company at that time, and Clinton was their enroller. And so, you know, I mean, Jeff and Danielle earned $185,000 in their first 2.5 months. You know, Clinton's earning, you know, $50,000, $60,000 a month. And I hear this story, and Clinton's like, man, listen, we're going to put a plan in place and go to work. And I believed him. I was coachable enough to, you know, and hungry enough. And I heard Danielle say, you know, had a point to prove. I had a point to prove also from my previous company when I came in here. And many of you have heard the story. Clinton, you know, referenced the income, but guys, that's not, you know, that's the glory. That's not the story. You know, I'm going to take you back to the story. And it was just something that we recently, I don't know if you would call celebrated, but we did take some time to think about, and that was 9/11, you know, and 18 years ago when that happened. You know, my life was kind of in order. I wasn't doing network marketing. You know, I had a traditional business. And that business started because of 9/11. My brother was the speechwriter for the president and CEO of Delta Airlines. The planes go into buildings, and now all of a sudden, the president at that time has to become an expert at, you know, airport security and safety and all of that. And my brother was writing all those speeches. But that's also what created all of the downsizing that happened in the airline industry. My brother was such a good speechwriter, he downsized himself, and he was out of a job. And we literally decided, you know, on a shoestring to start a traditional business that absolutely exploded. And there's nothing that I thought I was going to do I thought I was going to do that for the rest of my life. And my brother still does that business. He's done very well, but 08 happened and the economy tanked and we found ourselves in a tough situation. We had all these employees and, you know, now I'm trying to pay employees and, you know, I'm behind and for about 2 years I tried to keep it going, guys. And it got to the point where, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I like sleeping indoors and eating hot meals and electricity. Right now, I was getting ready to lose it all. I mean, you know, I was so broke. You know, you all have heard go in the Old Testament. You know, I mean, rob Peter to pay Paul. Right? I went in the Old Testament and started stealing from Abraham and Isaac. I mean, it was a bad situation. You know, I told Clinton one day I used to go to KFC to lick other people's fingers. I mean, it was just an awful time. And I was the guy that, you know, I wasn't against network marketing. I just thought I had a plan and I'm going to do it my way. And I found myself in 2011 literally going to the internet and that guy late at night, how to make money from home, you know, how to earn extra income. And I called a complete stranger and, you know, talked to him. He was doing really well from what I read. And I said, man, can you show me what you're doing? And he did. And, you know, he became a great mentor of mine. I actually met Clinton and Stephanie in that company, and we developed a great relationship. And so I got started. I'm, you know, building my traditional business, doing everything that I can. But it's kind of like, I want you to imagine this scenario. Imagine you go into a room and there's a little hole in the wall or in the floor, right? And you're just like, oh man, yeah, there's a hole in the floor. And then all of a sudden you go in a little later and the hole's bigger and you put a rug over it, right? And then you go in a little bit later and that hole's now to the point where you don't even go into the room anymore because the hole's taken over. And then all of a sudden you realize the whole house is getting ready to fall. And that was my financial situation. Even though I'd started earning some income in that company, the overall Jefferson Green financial picture was dying. I remember going to an event. Clinton will remember this too. We were in St. Louis. I brought a team. We had brought many buses and I had a great amount of people there. And I get a call at that event right before it starts, and they said, we're getting ready to take you home. I'll never forget it. This is March of 2012. I'm what's called a national director in that company. I'm making about $4,000 a month, which is extra income. But some of you know what I'm talking about. Even the extra income isn't making a difference in your life right now because the bills, the past mistakes, the challenges are catching up. And that's where I was. I was so behind on my child support. I remember my ex-wife would call me and be like, you get ready to go to prison because I'm calling the police to come get you. And I was just like, Vicky, listen, I have to pay my employees. If I don't pay my employees, there's no shot at this turning around. And guys, I was making money in my business. And some of you are making money in yours and you're saying, well, how come my story hasn't changed like all these other stories that I'm hearing? And I remember just being behind and, you know, telling my kids we were going to do stuff and, you know, and not being able to make it happen. And that call, I have 50 people with me that are quote unquote following my leadership. And I get a call before that event that I'm getting ready to lose my home. And I remember at that event, the speaker said, everyone grab a balloon, right? A little balloon just like this and a pen and write something on that balloon, just something that you want to let go. And guys, what I did was I wrote this out, but I wrote, you know, it says your past does not define you. And I wrote it right on that balloon. And I said, your past does not define you. Jefferson, I used to say your past doesn't define you. What's happened in the past isn't going to be your future. But something else was said to me that day by my mentor. And he said, don't let it get worse. And what he meant by that was, you know, hey, if you say you're going to send some money to your ex-wife. If you say you're going to see your boys, see them. If you know you can't see them, then say you're going to call them on Sunday and call them every Sunday. Just don't let it get worse. Because see, guys, I haven't seen or talked to my father since I was 4 years old. And my whole goal as a man was not to be my father. And I had turned into my father, neglecting my responsibilities, not handling business, right? And I just made a decision that day that my past was not going to define me. and I was not going to let it get any worse. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to build. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't care how long it's going to take, but I'm going to keep building on top of this little by little with my relationships, with my credibility, with my finances. And I got to tell you, things turned around. And this past weekend, I was able to take my son to college, right? And we have an incredible relationship, and to see him live his dream, and to be able to, now, guys, I couldn't even pay my bills, and now to be completely debt free and to have a residual income of well over $50,000 a month and earn $3.1 million in 26 months. And a big part of it was because of this gentleman right here who still believed in me, right? Still was willing to, accept all the flaws, all the challenges. I will tell you, it's exciting working with these top producers, right? But it's not always easy. You don't see leaders flocking together, right? Leaders are always wanting to do their own thing and go their own way, and let them do it. But I've heard Abby say it. I've heard other people say it. This business works because you find an army of regular people that are just hungry, that are willing to go out and work to make some extra income. And for most people, that extra income is going to be $500, $1,000, $1,400 a month. And if you are that person that helps a lot of people make a lot of extra income, then by default, you will make a lot of income. There's no other way around it. And from day one, Clinton Keller has sat in that chair in front of that whiteboard, looking at his Zoom, right, helping person after person after person change their life. And Clinton, I am so indebted to your friendship, your leadership, your mentorship, and as cliche as it sounds, and I don't even like saying it, but even though some things are cliche, they're still true. We are absolutely just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, your past does not determine your future. Clinton, I'm gonna throw it to you.
Man, I love it. Powerful, powerful, powerful words. And I remember that event, and I remember the balloon, and I remember me writing the word fear on my balloon and letting it go and popping it, and releasing it. So it's man, it's crazy. I love your story. I've been fortunate enough to at least know your story and be a part of some of it. But guys, it's just another example of you just never know. You just never know. Someone like Jefferson, traditional business, very successful from the outside looking in, but things, out of his control happen in just trying to keep a business afloat, behind on bills, behind on child support, just wondering how and where the next dollar is going to come, try to pay the employees, all that stuff. If you run across someone like that, you might think to yourself, do I really want to share Melaleuca? What could Melaleuca possibly do for this individual? Well, it might possibly just change their entire life. And, with Jefferson's story, it not only changed his life, but his yes has changed tens of thousands of lives. I mean, fastest growing business ever in the history of this company. Got to corporate director in 11 months where the previous record was 29 months. Like, the things that him and his team and his leaders and everyone in his organization are doing are mind-boggling. Thank God that I developed a relationship with him and got to know him as a person and let him get to know me and my wife as people, so we could build that relationship when working together in a business didn't even seem like a possibility at the time. But again, like I said, you can't connect the dots looking forward, only looking backwards. God put us in that position. He put us in the same company through the thinnest of threads, put us backstage together, put us on stage together, put us in positions to start training for each other's teams and building that relationship to one day, because God knew that we were going to work together in a company called Melaleuca, where we finally found our forever home, where we could finally bring the masses here to help people win. Because when we were trying to bring the masses to other places, we had a little bit of success, but not the success that you're looking for. So, man, incredible story, Mr. Green. And, man, I tell you, you say you're indebted to us, but Stephanie and I are indebted to you forever, too. What you've been able to do in our lives and the relationship we have, you're an absolute brother to me. So thank you for everything you do. And guys, I know it's getting super late. It's 9:30. You can hop off, and many of you have already hopped off, but there's still a lot of people on, 137 people to be exact. So hop off if you have to. I don't want to keep you up. I don't want you to feel you have to stay on, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share my story, because just in case one of those 137 people, if I can make an impact, if one person can relate and it can turn someone's business around or help them go and enroll somebody or just do something for them as far as adding value to their life, then it's worth it to me to share my story. And, my story is probably not what you guys probably think it is. Again, rewind it. Mine started all the way back in 2005, just a year after I graduated college. And, if you would have came up to me at that time, I was just an average, everyday, ordinary dude who loved sports, who liked to have a good time. I was working at a golf course, but inside I had huge dreams, huge goals, so many things I wanted to do. And in 2005 is when I was very first introduced to the world of network marketing. I had no idea that network marketing existed, okay? Like, when the first time I saw Amway, I went to a meeting on a Wednesday night, okay? This was on April 3rd of 2005, okay? I went to a meeting and saw this plan. This guy was drawing circles up, and he was 25 years old, and I was hooked. I was like, why doesn't everyone in the world make income this way? Like, this makes so much sense to me. I'm going to get started, and I'm going to go tell every single person I know, and I'm going to be making so much money in this thing, and I'm going to have time freedom at a super young age, and I'm going to be able to travel the world, get whatever I want, provide for my future family. Like, I was going to be able to do all that from one little 30-minute meeting when I saw these circles put up on a whiteboard. Well, I got started the next day. It was April 4th, 2005, and found out it wasn't so easy. I went and talked to everybody, guys. I would have been the person that you would not have wanted to enroll. I was so rough around the edges. I came to everything. I did everything, guys. We had meetings in Lincoln, Nebraska every Wednesday night. I did not miss a meeting. So I was part of Amway for 3.5 years. Okay, 2005 to halfway through 2008. And I didn't miss a single Wednesday night meeting. In fact, I would go to Kansas City on Thursday nights, which was 3 hours away from Lincoln. I'd come up to Omaha on Monday nights, which was an hour drive. I'd go to Des Moines, Iowa, which was 3.5 to almost 4 hours on Tuesday nights to see people do this presentation, to learn, to try to bring people I knew to the presentation. Guys, we had weekly meetings that we had to pay for. Okay, we had 4 national meetings a year, and we had a team meeting in Des Moines, Iowa every single month. For 3.5 years, guys, I went to all of these meetings. I worked so hard. I invested so much time, so much energy, so much money. I bought so many books. I bought so many CDs at the time to play while I was driving, and I was just learning and growing and growing. You guys, I'm telling you, I put everything up. I remember this vividly, okay, like it was yesterday. In a matter of 3.5 years of putting that much time and effort in, where I went to work at 5:30 in the morning at the golf course. I would sometimes be pulling into my driveway at 5 in the morning, driving back from just showing someone the opportunity. I would literally, this is a true statement. It was 8:30 at night on a Tuesday night. I finally get a hold of my friend who lived in Kansas City, and he's like, what's up? I'm like, hey man, I just happen to be in the area. It means I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska when I said this. He lives in Kansas City, Kansas. And he goes, what's up, man? I said, hey, I happen just to be in the area. Would you mind if I stop by? I have something I want to show you. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, when can you be here? I'm like, well, what's your address, first of all? I'm like, I'm going to go eat. I'm going to meet with this other friend. I could probably be there in about 3 hours. because that's how long it took to get from Lincoln to Kansas City. I hung up the phone at 8:30 at the night and called up my sponsor, and we drove down to Kansas City, got there at 11:30, talked to him, showed him the plan, drove back, got home at like 4 in the morning just to be at work at 5:30, didn't get no sleep. Guys, you would have looked at me and you would have labeled me clinically insane for the things that I did. And I tell you all that to tell you this, that in 3.5 years, I built a team, this massive team in 3.5 years from all that work that I put in that totaled 7 individuals. 7. Not 17, not 70, not 17,000. The number 7. 3 less than 10. And it's that number 7 I included myself because it was my team, and I thought I'd include myself. So really 6 other individuals. Guys, 3.5 years, $25,000 to $30,000 invested, no sleep, driving everywhere to build a team of 7 people. Guys, I'm telling you, we lived in a house in Lincoln, and I had my daughter at the time, and she was growing up. She was 6 years old, and I would sit there and we would cut pictures out of magazines and whatever you want, Courtney, just you put it on the fridge. And I had my dream board on the fridge of my house and my car and these vacations, and we talked about it on a daily basis, guys, sitting there. And I had to come home night after night, week after week, month after month, where you walk into the house and your daughter's waiting up just so you'd say goodnight to her. And, you'd be at dinner time and she'd look over the fridge and say, Dad, can we go on that vacation that we have that we put up there a year ago that, I know you're working hard, but can we do it? And I got to look her in the eyes, guys, and say, I'm sorry, honey, we can't do it yet. Because I'm talking failure after failure, just an absolute grease fire. And all I wanted was to provide for my family with all these dreams. Guys, I remember coming home and literally just crying my eyes out, praying to God, asking, why? Why can't I find someone that wants this as bad as me? Why can't I build a team like some of these other people? I'm doing every single thing that you're asking me to do. I'm going above and beyond. I've never missed a meeting. I listen to CDs every day. I talk to everyone I know. What am I doing wrong? I mean, just crying because I had to look at my daughter in the eye with just disappointment. Okay, I know how some of you guys feel. I've been there. I know that you're just like, what is going on? I see all these success stories, all these people getting all these customers, and I'm sitting there looking at my team, and I'm like, what am I doing? I can't get anyone to go director. I can't help anyone refer anybody. Guys, I'm telling you, it's all part of your story. It's all part of your plan. The only reason I quit after 3.5 years is because my sponsor, unfortunately, actually passed away unexpectedly. Had a headache one day, and 4 days later, he was gone. And so it was way too much for me. And then I got to a place in my life where it was so bad. I went through a divorce, and it was so bad. I'm telling you that I slept in 4 different places in a matter of 5 days. Okay, that's a really nice way of me telling you that I was homeless. This is the absolute truth. I then moved to Omaha to start my entire life over. I had to short sale my house. 2008 hit, like Jefferson said, housing market crashed. House is upside down now. I had to pay $25,000 to have my son birthed because the insurance found a loophole that said, you know what, we're not covering it. I was so far in debt. I couldn't pay my mortgage. I had to do a short sale. I had to borrow money for the deposit of my apartment that I came to move into Omaha, which is literally 2 miles from the house I live in. Guys, I was borrowing money from everybody. I was asking everyone. I was in such a dark place, but guys, my belief never wavered. People are like, how did you keep going? What did you keep? Why? I don't even understand. As I'm telling you, if you have that dream and that why inside of you, my why was so big. I wanted to provide what I promised to provide for my daughter and then now my son and my future family. Guys, That's all I wanted. And I knew that if I kept doing the right things, that good things would happen. It's called knowing your end story. And I had complete faith, 100% belief that if I just did the right things and partnered with the right people, that the timing would be right at some point where it would all come together, and everything I worked so hard for and everything that I sacrificed, all the time I sacrificed would come back 1,000-fold. All the money I sacrificed would come back 1,000-fold. Everything that I sacrificed and went through would come back to me 1,000-fold at some point. I believed that. I had 100% faith in that, and that's what kept me going. I knew that that was going to be the end game. And I took several years off. I found the nutrition company where I met Jefferson, started to see a lot of success, but the problem was that with that success came with a lot of bad habits and investing back in your business. So we made some money, but we put a lot of money back in. We didn't get to really where we really wanted to be with the time freedoms that didn't exist in that company, but we did great. I did it full time for 6 years. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've been called crazy. How many times people are like, you're an idiot. It will never work. Guys, I opted out of medical school to do this nutrition company full time. People had thought I'd absolutely lost it. Not one single person outside of my girlfriend at the time, which is Stephanie, now my wife, and my father at the time actually even supported me. Everyone else was like, dude, I'm cutting ties with you because you have lost your mind. You're going to go do this and throw away medical school. Because when I was doing Amway, people were like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Traveling all this stuff, doing all this stuff. You're not making any money. What are you doing? When I quit and resigned from the nutrition company, that I'd done full time, when my wife was in the middle of a job change, we had just built the house that we live in today, and I just resigned because what the company was doing I was a part of before didn't line up with my values. I found out a lot of things were happening that I didn't want my name attached to, and I'll never put a dollar bill in front of my values and my beliefs and my character, and I resigned. People are like, what is wrong with you? You have family, you have responsibilities, you have a house payment, you just resigned. Guys, that's when I found Melaleuca. And Melaleuca has been unbelievable. It's been the biggest blessing, and the income's great. And everything that we have, people see today, that the house we live in, the cars that we drive, the pool in the backyard, guys, here's what you need to understand. Because people are like, well, how did you design your house? How did you know what you wanted your pool to look like? Because we hand designed everything, and it happened quick. Here's why. Because everything that we have today was once on my fridge. I knew exactly what I wanted my house to look like. I knew exactly what I wanted my pool to look like. I knew exactly what car I wanted to drive. I knew exactly the vacations I wanted to take because I had them all on my fridge that I stared at for years. Not a month, not 2 months, not a year, not 2 years, for a decade. Stared at them, trying to do everything I could to make them come true. And when finally everything came to fruition, the right company, the right timing, the right vehicle, the right people, the right leadership, guys, it all came together. And I could care less about every no that I ever got. Do you think I even care about one person that called me crazy or said I was an idiot while I'm having our family reunion and the entire Keller family of 50 people over here in our backyard at our pool party this summer having the time of their life? Do you think even one no crosses my mind while I'm looking at that? Or as I'm writing a check to pay for my daughter's tuition, do you think I care about one person that ever told me no in the last 10 years? Do you think as I'm driving the car or hearing these stories tonight, do you think any no ever matters at all? It's not about the no's. It's about the yeses. Every no will be worth it at some point when the timing is right, guys. But that's why I love people sharing their stories, because you see a lot of people's, not their end story, but you see that they're long ways in their story. You're talking about 2005. That was 15 years ago almost for me. 15 years of getting my face rubbed against the concrete, being told no, being told I'm crazy, saying it's never going to work. When I left my nutrition company, literally 2 of the 3 founders calling me yelling at me saying, you'll never make it. This is a true story. I can't make this stuff up. Saying the only reason that you made any money and had any success in ViSalus is because we had momentum. You're an epic failure. You're making the biggest mistake of your life, guys. We were able to earn equity in that company. At the time I left, we were the number 5th largest equity holder the time I left. It wasn't worth it. I was told, you're making the biggest mistake of my life, guys. That equity check is turned into nothing today, but even if it was $10,000 a month, even if it was $20,000 a month, it would never be able to catch up to what we've been able to create here in Melaleuca with over a $25,000 a month residual income. Because it's unbelievable. But people see us today. They see the stuff we have today. They see the presentations you give today. You do not see all the horribleness, all the hurdles, all the obstacles, all the stuff that we had to go through to get to where we're at today. And most people, they don't make it through that period. It gets too tough and they quit. But what happens is they quit a lot of times right before the breakthrough, right before the timing comes right before someone might be coming into their life that's going to change their entire business. Guys, you have to have that why. You have to have that burning desire inside of you that's going to push you through all that to where you can be labeled clinically insane like me, but I promise you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can be partnered with a better company, with better leadership on the corporate end, with better leadership inside this team. You could be partnered with a better team, with better leadership on the team, with this company, these products, and this timing. Guys, you deserve it. We all have a story inside of us. You have a story. And it's going to be your story that you're going to share. It's going to inspire so many other people. And that's why you're going through the stuff that you have to go through. The only reason I went through all of that stuff, looking back now, I totally understand it. And I thank God every night for it, taking me through the darkest times of my life, because now I can share that story. Now I can relate to someone that's going through that. Now I can give someone hope when I talk to them saying, listen, I understand. And I'm not just saying I understand to make it look good. I understand because I went through it. I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly what you're thinking. And I know exactly the fears that are going through your mind and what you think other people are saying. Guys, I know you have to go through that. God had to take me up the dark side of the mountain so I can then take my story and use it to go inspire people. If it was easy, how could you ever relate to someone when they got a no, when they had a leader leave on their team, when they had to go through a tough patch in their life? Because you couldn't, because you didn't have to go through it. You're creating your story, and every story is unique. And your story is on purpose, with a purpose, because there's people already being positioned in your life in the future, whether it's next month, next year, next decade, that what you're going through now is going to relate to that person. They're going to be on your team. They're going to be your next executive director. Guys, it's all lined up. You couldn't put together what we put together if you tried. We're all connected by the thinnest threads, the chains of destiny, like Jefferson says, guys. And that's what it's going to be like going forward. Everything that you do is setting you up for the greatness and the people that are going to come onto your team. You just have to get through it. You have to have that grit. And you have to know that what you're doing is going to be so worth it in the end. I wish every single person could just live one day and feel one day of time freedom where money's not an issue. When your kids come up to you and say, hey, can we go on this vacation? You don't even have to think about what it costs or what day it lands on, because you have time freedom. If you could just feel that one day where you don't have to get up to an alarm clock, you don't have to worry about the bills and all that. Because if you could live one day with that, you would go do everything in your power every single day until you achieved it. That's how much it's worth. So guys, I appreciate you guys hanging in here. It's almost been 2 hours, which is crazy. There's still over 100 people on the Zoom. We'll get it recorded. It might take a while because it's super long. But man, I'm grateful for every single one of you, and appreciate every single one of you. And I know we have a week left in the month. We didn't even get to any of the strategies this last month. Guys, this is what you need to know, that you have a story and you have the opportunity to give to someone else to change their life. Think about the stories you've heard tonight. Think about how different their life would be if somebody didn't reach out to them. That's the power that you have. That's the gift that you have. You have a miracle in your mouth. You just have to go share it with that posture, knowing that, it might not be that person that you change your life, but what if it was? I'm not willing to take the risk of not talking to someone and not sharing this just in case that was the next Jefferson, just in case that was the next Ann or Danielle or Aaron or Abby or Kimberly, just in case. I'm just going to share this because you never know whose life you're going to change. With that, guys, this Zoom is officially a wrap. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless your dreams. We'll see you on a future Zoom.